Another day, another story. The Dunbar Armored robbery is one of the most notorious and largest cash heists in U.S. history. It took place in September 1997 in Los Angeles, California. The robbery was meticulously planned and executed by a group of criminals, including some former employees of Dunbar Armored, a company responsible for transporting cash. The heist involved insider information and careful timing. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. The perpetrators exploited weaknesses in Dunbar's security systems, disabling cameras and alarms. Over the course of the weekend, they gained access to the vault, stealing approximately $18.9 million in cash. One of the factors that made the Dunbar Armored robbery stand out was the substantial amount stolen. The criminals used various methods to avoid detection, including using gloves and bleach to destroy evidence. However, the heist eventually unraveled due to the involvement of multiple individuals and a subsequent investigation. Several members of the criminal group were arrested and prosecuted. The case received widespread media coverage, and it has been the subject of documentaries, books, and films detailing the intricacies of the heist and the subsequent law enforcement efforts to apprehend those involved. It is the largest cash robbery to have occurred in the United States. While the group left almost no evidence, Hill was implicated 2 years later when he accidentally gave a real estate broker a stack of banknotes that were still secured in their original currency straps. The broker contacted the police. Hill confessed, implicating the 5 other robbers, and 3 other men who had assisted in laundering the money. Pace was sentenced to 50 years in prison. Boyd was sentenced to 44 years, and the other 4 robbers received sentences ranging from 10 to 50 years. 2 of the men who assisted in money laundering were sentenced to 30 years. The robbery was masterminded by Alan Pace III, who worked for Dunbar as a regional safety inspector. While on the job, Pace had time to photograph and examine the company's New York armored car depot. He recruited 5 of his childhood friends, providing them with detailed floor plans and camera locations, ski masks, pistols, a shotgun, and radio headsets. The day before the robbery, Pace was fired by Dunbar for tampering with company vehicles. On the night of Friday, September 12, 1997, the group of 6 assembled at a house party to establish an alibi, before leaving, where Pace used his keys to gain admittance to the facility. Pace had timed the security cameras and determined how they could be avoided. Once inside, they waited within the staff cafeteria, ambushing the guards one by one as they took their lunch breaks at approximately 12:30 a.m. Pace knew that on Friday nights, the vault was left open due to the large quantities of money being moved. Rushing the 2 vault guards, the robbers managed to subdue all employees with duct tape before they could signal any alarms and did not fire a shot. In 30 minutes, the robbers had loaded $10 million into a waiting U-Haul truck. Pace knew exactly which bags contained the highest denominations and non-sequential bills. He also knew where the recording devices for the security cameras were located and took them. The group then returned to the house party. The police immediately realized it was an inside job, and closely examined Pace, due to his recent firing, but could find nothing. Investigators at the depot only found a plastic taillight lens, matching a U-Haul truck. The gang worked hard to conceal their new wealth, waiting 6 months before attempting to launder the $3 million. They enlisted the help of David Matsumoto, a Los Angeles immigration attorney, paying him and his office manager Joaquin Bin $1 million each for their assistance. Matsumoto structured the transactions via buying property and cars, investing in companies, and writing checks and W-2 tax forms for the robbers to give the impression they were earning wages. Pace also created his own front companies to launder more money and enlisted another man's help to buy property, so they would not be listed under Pace's name. Boyd, through his father's company, laundered $177,000. Most or all of the robbers were laundering cash through real estate. 2 years after the robbery, Hill made a critical error when he paid one of his friends, a real estate broker, with a stack of cash bound together with the original branded currency straps. Suspicious, the broker then went to the police. Detectives noticed Hill had rented a U-Haul on the day of the robbery. Arrested, Hill soon confessed and named all co-conspirators. Insider information. Some of the key players in the robbery were former employees of Dunbar Armored, which provided them with intimate knowledge of the company's operations and security systems. The criminals exploited this insider information to disable security cameras, motion detectors, and other alarm systems. Weekend heist. The criminals chose to execute the heist over a weekend when the facility was less populated, and there was a longer window of time to carry out the plan without immediate detection. Theft of cash. The stolen cash amounted to approximately $18.9 million, making it one of the largest heists in U.S. history. The criminals took their time loading the cash into a getaway vehicle, a van, which they later abandoned. Bleaching money. To remove any traces of fingerprints or evidence, the thieves used bleach on the money. This was an attempt to hinder forensic investigations. Arrests and investigation. Despite their careful planning, the group eventually faced challenges. Disagreements and suspicions among the members led to their downfall. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, launched an extensive investigation into the heist. The authorities followed leads and connected the dots to track down the individuals involved. Arrests and convictions. Over the following months, several members of the criminal group were apprehended. In 1998, a significant breakthrough occurred when one of the individuals, Eugene Hill, agreed to cooperate with the authorities in exchange for a reduced sentence. The information provided by Hill and the subsequent arrests led to successful prosecutions and convictions. Media and pop culture. The Dunbar Armored robbery garnered widespread media attention due to its scale and audacity. The story inspired various documentaries, books, and films, including the 2011 comedy film, 30 Minutes or Less, although the filmmakers took creative liberties and changed key details for entertainment purposes. The Dunbar Armored robbery remains a notable event in criminal history, illustrating the importance of both security measures and effective law enforcement in combating sophisticated heists. Aftermath. Alan Pace, initially claiming innocence, was arrested and sentenced to life in prison on April 23, 2001, and was incarcerated at a federal correctional institution in Safford. Another collaborator, Boyd, was sentenced to life due to his use of a gun and a prior criminal record. The four others, pleading guilty, received sentences between 10 and 50 years. Matsumoto was also implicated, resigning from the state bar. He and Bin were indicted on 71 counts related to money laundering and sentenced to 34 years. Less than a third, $8 million of the money was ever recovered, with some $10 million still unaccounted for. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.